Hey guys, this is Edith with Scrapbooking with Me, and I had a request for fall cards and some mixed media. So on this card, we're going to combine the two. We're going to do a little bit of mixed media and do a fall card. Now, I've just got a scrap of cardstock and then here. This is just a brick template that I had in my stash. So you can see it's been used many times. So we're going to use that, and I'm just going to put it somewhere right in the middle of this because I'm going to be trimming this off. And we're going to tape it down so that hopefully it won't go anywhere. Okay. And then I use this little spatula. So if you don't have a spatula, you can use a credit card, a piece of chipboard, just anything that will spread this stuff out. This is the Art Basics Light Paste, and this is in the opaque matte. And as you can see, it's almost like a icing, something like that. And then you're just going to put it down and just spread it around. You don't want a thick coat on here. You just want something light. And all the excess you can put back in your jar, so don't worry about that. And I don't worry about it going off the sides of the template because I'm going to be trimming it off anyway, so don't worry about that. Unless you're not going to be trimming it, and then you could tape the sides. See that I go back and I just turn it on its side and I scrape up all of that excess on there. And I want mine to be kind of uneven because I want the bricks to look really old, so I'm just going to put it, kind of smear it around in some different areas. Alright, now make sure that you wash your tools really good after you use them, because this stuff dries on them, it's not good. I'm just going to put a baby wipe around that until I finish. And then on this, I'm just going to pull the tape up. This is just our sticky note tape. It doesn't stick real hard. So I'm going to pull this up, and there we go. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And see, it's not real dimensional, so you could still mail this. Now, if you'll lay it out until it dries, it'll dry flat, or almost flat, pretty well flat. So you don't have to worry about it bowing up. But it does have some water in this paste, so it's going to have a little bit of a bow on it until that water dries out. Now I'm going to put some baby wipes around my template till I finish with that. Then you can lay this aside, let it dry, or you can dry it with your heat tool, either one. And as you're drying it, if you will dry both sides, then it's going to dry out flat like that. Okay? So I'm going to lay that aside, and through the magic of, did one yesterday, I have one that's already dry, as you can see. That's dried out. Now, I went around it, I took my vintage photo, and then my little dauber here, and I just lightly tapped it and went around the edges. Then I took this with some of the ink off of it, and I just lightly went across this, just a little bit, because I wanted it to look antiqued and old. So I didn't wipe it really hard, I just put it in some different areas like that. So that makes it look older. And you can see my brick are thick and thin, so that looks like a really old wall, and I like that part. Alright, and now what we're going to do, let me move that over there. This is just a standard card base I have cut out of paper, and I cut it at, this is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and then I just scored it in the center at 4.25, so that makes a 4.25 by 5.5 card. I've cut this piece at 4 by 5.25, so that piece is going to go down right there as a mat. If I can find my gun here. And I will put these measurements on my blog, so don't worry about writing them down if you don't want to. These are pretty standard measurements, so it's not going to be a hard one. Then just mat that piece right there. And then this piece is going to go right on top of that. And this piece I cut down to 3 3/4 to 5. So I'm going to put that right there. And if you'll use some tape on the back of this all the way around, see if you put the tape all the way around it and then just press it down, it will lay down nice and flat, just like that. This piece I cut at 3 5/8. No, I cut it at 3 3/4, and then I cut it at about 2 inches. And what I used on this, and I will try to find this and link it below, this is just a pink and Maine dye, and it's got all of these little swirly things on here that you can use these for snowbanks and that kind of thing. And I just used this one, and I cut this off so it'd be just a little bit like a little bank there. And we're going to put that right down at the bottom, but I'm going to do a little bit of inking on it as well, just a tiny bit, just so that it'll look a little bit dimensional. So I think we're going to put that right there. Again, I'm just going to use some ATG. See, that's why we didn't go all the way down on our card with that brick, so that we could put that at the bottom. Now, if you have an oval punch, now is the time to drag it out, because you can make pumpkins using an oval punch. I didn't have a regular oval punch. All I had was a scallop one, so that wouldn't work too well. But I did use the scallop one to make this, and then I cut a little oval one and I printed that out on my Cricut. It just says give thanks, and that's going to go right in the center there. And I think we're going to use some dimensionals on this. Because I did not have a regular oval punch, so I just had to use my Cricut. But if you have an oval punch, or if you don't have an oval punch or a Cricut, if you just go online and go to Google and just search for an oval image, print it out, and then trace it, you've got it. And you may could even draw one. I can't draw one, but you probably can. Alright, we're going to put that right there, just like that. And then I cut out some pumpkins using my Cricut. Here again, I don't have an oval punch, but if you have an oval punch, as you can see, you can use it to cut these pumpkins. Just cut an oval and you've got it. You can even make dimensions in your pumpkin by just cutting an oval, cutting another one, and cutting it in half and putting it down there. I didn't have that, so we're going to try to improvise with this. Let's see what I can use to give it a little bit of dimension so it doesn't look so flat. Okay. Alright, first we're just going to use our pencil. We're just going to go down some ridges like that on that side. Give that pumpkin those little indentions that it has. Alright, so see, if you do that, then you've got a little bit of dimension there. And we'll go over that with something in just a minute. I'm going to do the other two just like that. Just making it to where it looks more like a curve and not just a flat pumpkin there. Now I want to go over that with something. Let me find something. Maybe this. I don't know if this will work or not, but we'll see. So you can just use whatever type pen you have, marker, and just kind of go over to give that pumpkin the ridges that it needs. Okay, then I'm just going to take this marker and I'm going to go around the edges of the pumpkin to give it a little bit more dimension. And this is just a Copic marker, but you could use some other type marker if you have it, or a crayon, or just anything that you've got that'll put a little color on there. Okay, so see, that gives our pumpkin a little bit more dimension. Then we're going to take a dark green and I'm going to try to color over these little stems with this dark green, because we don't want them orange. We want them green in this little swirl. So see, that makes a difference. And here again, if you don't have an oval punch, go online and just find a picture of a pumpkin, make it as the size that you want and print it out, and then just trace it. That's what I used to do before the Cricut. There's always some images on there that you can find. I usually go to like the kids art page or something like that, and it'll have different images that you can use and print out. Alrighty, now we're about ready to put this down, and I think I'm going to put it somewhat like that on different dimensionals. And then I cut some little leaves with my Cricut because I don't have a leaf punch that's this size. I have one that's a larger, but not that size. So we're going to use these. I'm going to take that same marker, but you could also do this with the Tim Holtz inks. And I'm just going to go around the edges, giving it a little bit of dimension. But you can do this with ink, just ink it up. And then I like to go down the center and then just put the little veins in. Something like that. That makes it a little bit more lifelike. And you could do the same thing with your ink, but inking up the edges of things really makes a difference. Let's see what we got here. Let's get a yellow one. And you may have a leaf punch that's like this. That would be great. I don't have a ton of punches, so that's why I use my Cricut a lot. Just putting some veins in there and some ink around the edges makes a lot of difference. And then I used that same punch that we've been using for Christmas. I used it to punch out a few of these green little branches and then a brown one, because fall does mean brown after all. Alright, we're going to use some dimensionals and put that down first. That. And then, I think I'll put a little green leaf right there. And I'm going to clip the end of this off just so that it'll look like it's back in there, attached, that kind of thing. And then we're just going to put it like that. And I'm going to use some of our art glitter glue to do that. You can see my bottle. I use this bottle over and over. It's about time I got another one. This one has about had it. Alright, put that right there. And then we're just going to take the pumpkins and let's see. I think we'll put this little guy down first, and I'm going to put him flat. I'm probably going to pop the other ones up. And then we'll put this one on dimensionals. And put him over here, just like that. And we'll put this one on some dimensionals and put him in the front. Probably going to have to put two on one side. There we go. Put that one right there. Just like that. I will link these below as well. These are really nice 3D dimensionals. And then we're going to stick these leaves in just some different areas around. Just like that. And then this little branch and this little branch. Something like that. What you think about that? Alright, this leaf we're going to do part of a dimensional. I'm going to cut it in half. Okay. Then put these little stems down and we have a card that's finished. So stick that in there. And stick that one right in there. And there's your card. There is your fall card. Quick and easy. You can go ahead and fill in all of these if you wanted to, but I kind of like the way they look. But that is quick and easy. And if you have an oval punch, it'll be even quicker than what I did because, you know, I had to set my Cricut up and cut these out on my Cricut. But an oval punch or just trimming them and cutting them out or even drawing them, they don't have to be perfect. Don't worry about it being perfect. Just draw them and cut them out. Because, you know, pumpkins are all shapes and sizes. But that is the card. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And this one is drying, so when it gets dry, I will use it on another card. Alright guys, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.